Alright, we're back. Part 2. Okay, so there is so Ashara would, in the day before the festival, she would, and probably in the week leading up to it too, she'd be kind of telling you a bit more, because one of the whole things you were here for was to get assistance with getting into Orlunga, right?
Yeah.
So on that note, she would let you know that she is aware of what's needed to get in there. She would tell you that, you know, her people have pilgrimage to Orlunga. She's aware of the oracle there, or alternately known as the Guardian Saja. She's not 100% sure what Saja is, because she's never actually seen her, but she resides at the top of one of the ziggurats, and is an oracular figure. However, she's never actually physically seen her, but she does get the impression that she is powerful and old. And she's not 100% sure, but she's suspects that she may be tied to that location, or maybe trapped there, whether it's voluntarily or not. She doesn't seem to be a prisoner, but she's not sure in all of her years whether Saja can actually leave Orlunga or the ziggurat at all. So she would describe to you accurately enough the layout and where Saja is in Orlunga. Orlunga itself, there's not much left of it. There is a smattering of shrines to some of the various primordials and Uptau and other things there, and some of the Omuan and Ashaudan, but a lot of it was kind of torn down during the slave rebellions. When the Ashaudan were destroyed by Raz, a lot of the city itself was destroyed, and since then she knows that much of the city has been essentially dismantled for parts. The surrounding Batiri tribes and others have, like, what the jungle didn't reclaim, a lot of it has been just, like, taken. Like, you know, stones, like mason stones and things, some of the buildings and stuff. So a lot of it, either time, jungle, or looters have taken. But the central ziggurat where Saja is protected by some sort of mystical force that prevents those any who don't pass their tests and have the proper offerings from getting there. She does tell you that she knows that it is protected by nature spirits, and she says that and at this point I think you guys at some point would have talked about Chwingas or brought it up.
Sure.
But so, you know, she would tell you that Chwingas definitely are there in fairly substantial numbers, although it's not always obvious they are, because they can inhabit plants and rocks and things, so you can always see that they're there. But she does know that they are. That she says it's the test, the actual tests when you're there vary, and in fact in the pilgrimages they've never been the same any time, so she can't tell you exactly what to expect. But typically the Chwingas will show you what needs to be done, so just follow their lead, essentially, is what she says. But in order to initiate the tests at all, you do need to bring the proper offering, which she's only aware of a single offering that's been accepted, and that is a Black Orchid. A very, very rare plant.
So expensive.
Almost like we need to go on a quest now, so somebody grab it.
Isn't the Black Orchid's the Magic the Gathering card, right?
That's
Yes, it is.
That's Black
Thank
Orchid.
you.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Black
okay.
Lotus.
Damn, I thought it was the Black Orchid.
Yeah. Black Orchid is the balanced reprint in the latest set. No, just kidding. Man, Alpha Black Lotus, what do those go for these days? Like $5,000? Anyways. I remember it was worth a ton of money, but like 20 years ago, so I imagine a mint Black Lotus these days would be super rare. Or maybe worthless, because people still play Magic?
500,000.
Holy shit! Really?
One sold in January for 500,000.
Jesus Christ!
Perfect grade. Yeah.
Perfect grade. So there's probably like 2 of those in existence.
But even like the other ones, I've shot up in price.
Hey Sean, remember when your dog ate your Shiva dragon?
I do.
Every time we talk Magic, that's the first thing that pops in my head is you going, "Where's my Shivan dragon?" Looks down on the ground and your dog's like got it in his mouth and like ripped it in half. I was so I'm sorry. It still hurts me to this day.
It's good times. It's good times. Opening old wounds. It's good times.
Good memory,
Yeah.
good memory. Love
You
that.
had 3 of them.
It's true, you did have multiples, but still, it is. Yeah. Anyways,
We digress.
yeah, I digress. So what we're talking about, fighting dragons, right? So you have Black Lotus. No, damn it,
Native-
Black Orchid.
That's my bad.
I'm gonna slip and call it that every time now. Black Orchid.
Just change it to Lotus and we're good to go.
I should just change it to Lotus. Yeah.
We shouldn't bring that as an offering. We should sell it. They're worth so much
So much
money.
money.
So,
Just bring it back to port.
so
We
valuable.
could own all of Port Nyan's art.
Has a
There's
lot of
power.
So unfortunately, they don't have any black orchids here in Kir Sabal. However,
Do they grow in Nangalore?
sorry, Sean,
Sean.
can you mute?
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so black orchids, unfortunately, they don't have any here. They, occasionally they were known to grow within the swamp. That's where they've gotten them in the past, but for probably a good decade now, since Ashara last did the pilgrimage to Orlunga, they have not been able to find any. So she would suggest that one of the very few places, unless you happen to stumble across one in the wild, which is unlikely, but it could happen. She suggests that there is a place that is not terribly far from here that is home to all sorts of rare and natural wonders.
The hunting grounds.
The hunting grounds of the shit. No, there's a reason it's called the Garden Palace, because
Woohoo!
it's home to ancient botanical gardens. Nangalore is,
Oh yeah.
and she's shown you with various maps and things roughly where it is. It is about 5 days travel from here by foot. Unfortunately, before you even ask, no, they are not able to fly you guys there. They can summon the elementals for very short periods of time, and the air coker are not strong enough to carry you guys by air. So that's not going to be an option to actually get you guys there. So
Do they know any giant eagles?
However, she does warn you that the ruins, her people have stayed away mainly out of just out of I guess respect for the royal line. It was, the Garden Palace was built to honor an ancient queen, Elmoon queen, which she's not sure how many generations back she lived, but definitely at least several generations before Napaka, Queen Zalcore. It was built to honor her, and so just out of respect for the royal line, they haven't gone really looking. There's also rumors that the place is haunted, and is just generally dangerous. It is located, and she would tell you that probably the fastest way to get there would be to head over to the River Olong and take that south, and then embark essentially just before the surrounding land turns into marshland, because there is a Lake Luau. North of Lake Luau for several miles is kind of a swampy marshland. And she says when the volcano erupted, when the crown erupted and created basically the Valley of Embers, it did extend to the north edge of Lake Luau. So Lake Luau itself is a highly contaminated. It used to be full of life. Now it's a dead lake. The ash and smoke that fell basically created a very kind of acidic environment. She may not explain in those exact terms, but basically it suffocated all of the marine life there and the plants, and created basically a dead lake that nothing can grow in, and it created kind of like a salt, like a very acidic kind of salty, not salty, but like acidic sulfuric kind of marshland to the north as well, and surrounding the edges of the lake. So it's not, Lake Luau is not the most hospitable environment, although it's not directly dangerous, although she recommends not drinking the water there. But the river itself leads from Lake Luau to flows north towards the sea. So you can make your way up the river and then depart just before the edge of the swamp. It's no more than a day from the edge of the river, and she'll mark, like it's marked on your map where it is roughly on the hex. But she says that would probably be the fastest way, is to head over to the river, like to the south, basically go southwest, right?
Sure.
Like this way, get onto the river and then take that down. And that would be the fastest route that way. Even though the river this close to Lake Luau, it's not as many like waterfalls and stuff and rapids and things, so it's a bit easier going. So you should be able to move pretty quickly on the river, although you'll be fighting the current. But it's not that big of a deal. It's not a fast flowing river, so at least not at this area. So she said that's the route she would take, and then just travel overland. At the edge of the marshlands lies the palace. The jungle has taken it back, and of course time is worn on it. So you know, she's not sure what exactly to expect. They don't really know the layout. It's not extremely large. Like, it's basically a summer retreat for the royalty, at least back in its day. That's what it was for. So it's not like in a city. It's not surrounded by high walls or anything, but she recommends, obviously she doesn't know where. It'll be full of gardens, she knows that. Probably wildly overgrown at this point, but and she can't tell you exactly what to expect there, but if you keep your wits about you, you seem like capable adventurers.
When she mentions an orchid having to do with Oralunga, it
Yes,
does remind me that at the funeral, there was a orchid that had the blessings of Oralunga at the funeral we were all at. It was a purple orchid with a red center. Yeah. Is that the black orchid?
That's what it looks like. It's a very, very dark purple, so they call it a black orchid. But technically, yes.
Gotcha.
It's extremely dark purple with a red center.
Should have grabbed that.
Yeah, because save yourself a hell of a lot of effort. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't have been frowned upon.
Yeah, she would even show you a colored drawing of one so you can identify it on sight. She does know that it is not only is it used in like holy rituals at Oralunga and everything, but it was also cultivated by the Omuans, and it was rare enough that typically royalty, unless it's found, like I said, very rarely in the wild, typically it was cultivated by the royal family themselves. So the Garden Palace of Nangalore, if there's any growing potentially still there, that maybe there's some could be found.
Would the princess have any knowledge about the Garden Palace, or is this before her time, I guess?
Oh, way before her time.
Yeah.
We're talking like great grandmother Zalkore.
I was wondering if she had maybe any knowledge about it somehow passed down, but...
Or like a key.
Yeah, here, do you have a key?
We don't need it.
Or any are there any kind of like talismans to help ward off any of the ghosts?
No, but from what you've told me about your encounters in Umbala, you seem to be well versed in dealing with haunted ruins.
I have a blue orchid.
So close.
We can paint it?
Paint it black.
Paint it black.
Or use a cantrip to change the color.
Jonas sees a red door, he paints it black.
I'm just colorblind. That's all.
It was from the little girl that lives in the Temple of Tamora.
Yeah, the orchid at the funeral, the only card just said blessings of Oralunga. That's it. No name who left it or sent it. Yeah. So that's what she would suggest. If you're looking to go to Oralunga, that would be your first step, is to get yourself a Black Orchid. Failing that, you take your chances going there without it, but it will make the entrance to the temple accessible to you and allow you to pass the tests. And
question being, did they happen to grow within this area at all? Like, I need to know this because I do have an ability to locate plants, specific plants, within a certain 5-mile radius.
Yeah, they did. They haven't in a very long time.
Okay, well, I mean, I can cast the spell and see if there is anything in a 5-mile radius.
Sure.
At some point.
Sure.
And
one good thing is, I mean, you could cast that. Is it a ritual? Does it have a cost? Is it a spell slot? I just want to know.
It is one of my ranger features. So it just comes with the ranger package as a ritual, I believe. Well, it's not a ritual spell, I guess, but
well, that's what I need to know. How often can you
Is
cast
it once
is what I'm asking.
a day? Is it only specific plants? Read it?
Once a day. That's how I have it marked down on there. I'll have to look at.
Yeah. Okay.
Part.
It's a level 2 divination ritual, 1 action, no specific cost. So yeah. So if you can do it once per day, how long does it last? Oh, it's a ping. It doesn't even last. So essentially, once a day you can ping, and if it's within 5 miles, you'll know where it is.
It points me to the nearest one. If there's more than one, it only goes to the nearest one.
The nearest one, yeah. It is handy. Like once per day, you can cast that on your once per day you could
per long
that.
rest or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Rest. Once per long rest, you can cast that.
So,
but the good thing is,
if they think on stuff that it's only in this one place in the garden, so like that, at least we can go to the garden and you could ping it at the garden, and it'll give us an idea and so like that of which direction in the garden. So there'll probably be like multiple places there, right? So at least we'll have it.
We won't have to search for it. You'll just know.
Yeah, we'll know what's in this
radius is huge area. Overall.
Yeah, exactly, right. So
that's what I mean. So yeah, exactly. If you go to the Garden Palace, or even the same hex as the Garden Palace, and cast that, but probably be best to wait till you're at the palace itself, not 5 miles away, because then you get a much more. Because I would assume it gives you the direction and distance, right? So if you're relatively close, in like say a large structure with multiple buildings and gardens and things, you could cast that and go ping. Oh, it's in the, southeast corner, or it's in the middle, or wherever. Like you could roughly pinpoint it. Not roughly, almost. That is exact. It says distance and direction, so you wouldn't be able to know exactly where it is, but you would know. Okay, there is
one.
Yeah, there's one here. Because if you go to the gate and ping and nothing shows up, it's like, well, let's not go in because fuck it. Or go in anyways because it's an ancient ruin. And you guys haven't done a lot of.
Please. Archie will be going in alone, I guess.
we don't need all that side, story stuff.
Who cares about my main initial goal of the campaign?
I will use it while we are here, just in case there happens to be something.
Sure,
around here.
Since we're resting tonight.
There isn't.
It's like somebody's got one in their pocket.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Jonah picks it up from the funeral and just has it in his backpack.
Yeah, I can confidently tell you that within a 5-mile radius of Kir Sabal, there is not a Black Orchid to be found. But your spell goes poof. Nope.
How confident?
Very confident.
Very. Although divination spells have been a little funky since Savras died, but.
All right. So
this is more about nature. This is more me communicating with nature in a 5-mile radius. I would say
it's a divination spell. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, but it's communicating with nature divinely, so they're
with divination.
letting me know.
Yeah. But I'm just letting you know, divination spells in general can be a little wonky. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could be. I'm not saying it is though.
So when do we get to do these violent fights?
Violent lights.
What?
Violent lights.
Violent lights, not violent fights.
Oh.
So yes, so that would be Ashara's. She would tell you all about that. She would tell you pretty much exactly where the ziggurat is in Oralunga, where Oralunga is. The pin is in the right place, essentially, is what I'm telling you, for both Nangalore and Oralunga. So, and yeah, so if that's her counsel to you. If you're looking to get to Oralunga, that would be your next step, and she gave you as much information as she knows, essentially, as far, well, unless she's holding something back, but about how. Is she? Hmm? Is she? Didn't tell you, she's not telling you about the Tarask Hydra that lives there.
The Tarask Hydra? Wow.
A Tarask Hydra, yeah. It's a Hydra that's the size of a Tarask, but each of its heads is another Tarask.
Like, not the head of a Tarask, but a whole Tarask.
Yeah, full Tarask. Yeah.
We went full Tarask.
And it shoots laser beams from its eyes.
Nice.
But otherwise, it's safe. So that's. I mean, you guys can decide whether that's the next course of action or not. If not, think of your own plan. But that's what she counsels you to do.
Archie would like to go to Nangalore.
Baz agrees.
I think we're just. It's not like we can't survive out here. We've done this before.
At this point,
and we did top up on supplies here as well. So
we're so close.
I mean, we don't have like a pressing kind of, oh, we've got to get back to Port Nyanzaru right away. I mean, sure, it would be nice to get back there. I'm sure Jonah would love to see Chance.
Would it be nice to get back there? I'm happy in the wilderness.
Yeah, it would be nice to not. I mean,
you're gonna have a while still.
We've had this nice reprieve. That being said, I think taking the time to go down there, since we're this close already, we would be foolish not to do it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Plus,
I like plans.
There's half of a ship in it for you too.
There is.
Which half?
Yeah,
the Nangalore half.
Who needs half?
The one with the coffin.
Yeah, no. So is that the front half or the back?
It's cut down the middle.
I would take the bottom half.
I would take the top.
The top that's not going to do anything.
I don't think either
sails.
half does good.
The top has the sails, yeah.
Yeah, the bottom is at least at worst it's a rowboat.
Yeah, the top.
Oh, we
is
got a rowboat.
The top will sink.
We could take the sails and put it
power.
on our rowboats, our canoes.
I don't think you're grasping the size of the ship that's on offer here. You're
No,
not
it
going to
just
be
means
putting
our
those
canoes will
sails
go
on a
really
canoe.
fast.
We're only getting half of it, so.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I'll worry about getting the bottom. Jonah, you worry about getting the top, and we'll meet together, and we'll
in the middle.
We'll glue them together.
Or I could map both places and get the whole ship.
Whoa, hold on.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, let's not go overboard here.
Oh my god.
I know that this is a fantasy setting, but a little too out there.
A little believability would be nice.
You're ruining my immersion.
Everyone knows the best way to get a boat is to get two halves. The bottom, top, glue them together.
Nobody just sells a whole boat.
Yes.
Archie just leaves the table.
I'm done with you.
See you in Nangalore.
What is a canoe if not the bottom half of a boat?
Right.
Does a boat have a top half? I feel like only ships have a top half.
Valid point.
I think everything has a top half.
Yeah.
One way or the other, you look at it, everything does, yes.
I guess so.
Fundamentally, you should always have a top and a bottom in one way, form, or another. Even
not
two
a boat.
dimensions.
It is a ship.
By the way, through like the past 2 weeks, anytime Jonah has shown up, he's been offering you guys cake. He's just been walking around with his mug of cake.
Archie absolutely would have drank some to work on her paperwork and stuff.
This stuff is great.
Yeah, this is
I don't know,
awesome.
you could start like a little stall in like the bazaar.
Oh,
Grand Souk. Just
if you do it
cave.
up by the library, because it like keeps you awake and you can read longer.
I was the pumpkin patch where they have that spices.
It's like the middle of summer though, or no, it's not.
Yeah. This does seem. You probably want to wait till
Spring.
autumn.
It's a little early.
Fair.
Yeah, it was just the spring. It is literally the spring equinox.
I was just reading back on the locate animal plant spell, and it actually does describe it as concentrating on the voice of nature in your surroundings.
That's fine. It's still a divination spell.
I know. I just thought it was... fundamentally it's a divination spell, but it does make it as if you're communicating with nature.
Sure.
Your TM is telling you it's divination, no matter what it says.
But what if? What if it wasn't?
I mean, it's still. I mean, yeah, I get it. You're saying it may not come
I
from
wasn't
Savras.
reading it for that reason.
Savras is the god of all divination, nature, and otherwise.
I wasn't reading it up for that information. I just actually reading back on it. But
no,
I
get
like,
it. I'm just bugging you. It's fine.
All right. So what's this festival about?
Yeah.
Well, lights and violence.
It feels like violent light sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
It's a raid.
It's coming for you.
It feels radiant. And that's
so
like that.
So yeah, you guys have the next day is clear skies for very little rain. In fact, it's going to be a clear night, and much of your day is probably spent in preparation, if you are indeed leaving upon the morrow to go to Nangalore to start your journey after a month here amongst the peaceful bird folk of Kir Sabal. Is this the longest you've spent in a single place since arriving on Chult? I think it is.
Yeah.
Even in the port was only a couple weeks at most, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think only a couple days, really.
I mean, we weren't trapped. So.
Even do 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Basically, this is probably as close to a quote-unquote home you've had since stepping on the continent. So you guys can contemplate how the time here has affected your characters or not. It's up to you how much you'll miss this place and what you got out of this place. But regardless, as the afternoon comes to a close, or to a, as the sun starts sinking in the sky, the bird folk, all of them, gather around, and they, unless somebody wants to sit this one out, they would invite you to gather in the main temple. Although there's enough bird folk that they don't all fit at once, so they're probably all, you can see like out that big main balcony that there's bird folk all over the place, like on the balconies outside their homes. And as the sun starts going down, you see Ashara and her and some of her, the I guess what you've come to think of as like, even after a month here, it's probably not super clear like the hierarchy of the various monks exactly, but the kind of more established, or not necessarily elder, but the more senior, I guess, of the monks begin a kind of solemn ritual. It lasts for 10 minutes or so, as they just kind of, it's very similar in fact to when they began the test up at the bluff before you were rudely interrupted. Just kind of like that kind of low, kind of almost like throat singing. And then T-Bolt and his warriors, you see, kind of take flight, and they begin kind of an elaborate like flight pattern, and begin joining their voices to the monks that are in the temple as well. And as they do so, you see that small kind of like motes of light start kind of like drifting in the air, in general, kind of surrounding Kir Sabal. For, you're not sure exactly how far. It's hard to tell distance just out in the night sky, but just these kind of like tiny motes of light. And as they do so, some of the Aarakocra begin bringing out both wind and percussion instruments, and they begin to, as the warriors' kind of flight patterns become more elaborate, they kind of pick up pace, and they begin to sing. Not so much the throat singing, although that's kind of a constant kind of like hum in the background, but in general they begin to sing. And they it just kind of like slowly picks up. Probably takes maybe like 20 minutes, half an hour or so of this like slow build up, until suddenly the motes of light just begin kind of almost like tracing behind the swirling Aarakocra in the sky, before some of them start kind of like firing off and basically exploding in elaborate patterns of different multicolored light.
Like fireworks.
Like fireworks, similar. But more than that, the sky itself kind of just like lights up, kind of like a mix of fireworks and like the northern lights, and like this kaleidoscope of like motion and color that goes on for quite some time. The bird folk have a very, although you've mostly heard like this kind of like solemn kind of throat singing from them, the bird folk have a much greater range of voice than you've heard from like human performances. They can hit highs and lows, and it's not just a visual experience, it's also an auditory one, as their voices kind of just join in this kind of like chorus of just music, essentially. And as you're kind of sitting, they don't really there's not like speeches and things throughout this. They don't really they're not doing prayers. For the most part, they're just singing and flying. But it lasts for maybe an hour, as the sun dips below the horizon. Once the light of the sun goes behind, the sky itself is just like this massive, like glowing, like collision of light and sound. It's kind of overwhelming. I would say it's the kind of thing that you'd probably put like a seizure warning in front of before watching it. But at the same time, it is probably unlike anything you've seen before. Like, there's probably been like similar like festivals and things with like sparklers and stuff that you've seen in like Waterdeep and things, but nothing to this extent. Yeah. But it just kind of like carries on for about an hour before kind of culminating in just like this massive, like almost, well, if you could see 360, but at least in your entire field of view is just like all these explosions of color. And then afterwards the music just kind of like slowly kind of dies down. And the Aarakocra kind of slow their flight and kind of like land, and they all kind of solemnly like kind of bow their heads in silence for maybe 30 seconds or so. And then T-Bolt appears again. He's carrying two very large casks under his arms. And bear in mind, Aarakocra wings are not attached to their actual arms, just so you guys know. He can fly while holding these things. And he kind of like swoops down and hands them to some of his warriors, who basically tap them. And then he says, "And now, we drink and we feast." And the music starts up again, but this time it's more of kind of like background noise. And essentially the Aarakocra, a relatively solemn and quiet people up until this night, they basically just throw like a rager into the wee hours of the morning.
Love it.
While the fireworks were going on, was Na watching?
Oh yeah, Moroxnari and Na were enraptured by it.
I would have. Can I tell if he's like in awe or is he like freaked out? You know, because like, some kids actually kind of don't like fireworks.
Oh, he seems to be just absolutely enthralled with the whole thing.
I would offer to give him a better seat
on top of your head.
Throws him off the balcony.
And then I take my trunk and I let him kind of like hop up on it, and then I put him on my shoulder.
Okay. Cool. So during this whole event, you guys, and the rest of the night, I'm not sure how involved you guys get with the festivities or not, but you guys have a chance to reflect on your time here and all the trials and tribulations that brought you to this point. And you guys will level to level 6.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Jonah is a party animal.
I was gonna make a Constitution save too, because I'm like, Archie's getting drunk. Archie's getting real drunk.
She's drunk before 10.
Jonas is like, this is nothing. You guys should try some of this Raya fruit. 25 con save.
I love the idea that Archie just gets drank out of the table by everybody.
When you say a feast, is it the same type of food that we've had this whole time, or is there a new menu?
It's a lot of some of the same stuff, but it's much more elaborate. There's definitely dishes you've not seen before that seem to be like, you know, like when you go down and get like Christmas dinner, you know, you don't make that kind of stuff all the time. So there's there's a lot of very sugary and like sticky, syrupy kind of food, and like a lot of like fatty kind of foods. Like definitely, it's a like gorge on this and gain 10 pounds in a night kind of food. But on top of that, you do notice that they have, at least for this one night, it's not a big part of the menu. I'd say maybe 10% of what's out there for food, but there is some various like let's say non-vegan meat products. I'm not sure where they got them from, but it seems like most of the Aarakocra don't go near them, although a couple of them do partake, but in just small amounts. But it T-Bolt would probably let you know that they took some special consideration for, you know, people who might actually enjoy meat once in a while.
I give him a hearty, you know, firm, you know, friendly pat on the back, big smile, and thank him. Yeah. And yeah, yeah, Baz definitely drink, but he would savor the food, especially.
Ooh. The rest of you do anything in particular special this night? Out of the ordinary? I mean, other than the party.
Do what the natives do.
Try to fly!
Black one had a real good night. Yeah, I'd probably be watching T-Bolt to see how much he's drinking, but then eventually giving up and just.
Oh, he's drinking a lot.
Then I'm committed to just getting completely wasted, assuming that he's gonna be fucked up tomorrow too.
All right. Anybody who drinks to excess can give me a con save. I know some of you already have.
I don't think I would drink to excess. I think he'd be more interested in the food.
What about Don Quinn?
Donacun wouldn't be drinking any alcoholic beverages or anything. He would stick to like teas and things like that, or different types of drinks and things that he hasn't had in a long time or before.
Everything.
Mocktails. Sure, sounds good. Well, yeah, Archie and Blackwind, actually Aelin as well, probably. Yeah, I mean, the night, like I said, well into the night, this goes on, but probably around, I would say maybe like 1 or 2 in the morning, maybe even later than that. It's hard to keep track probably by that point in the night. The Aarakocra start filtering out and eventually dying. The whole thing starts kind of dying down. Moxinare excuses herself, and Na is like asleep by probably like 9. He sees it probably a little bit later, but he like gorges himself on like sugary treats and stuff, and then is like basically snoozing in a corner, and they would take their leave and go to sleep. Moxinare probably stays until maybe like just after midnight before she turns in, but she would partake, but not like in excess. Although you get the feeling that she doesn't probably drink much at all, so she's definitely got a little bit of tipsiness as she bids you guys goodnight as well. Yeah, T-Bolt. Yeah. Let me just double check here. Oh fuck. He's I don't know if anyone's trying to outdrink him, but with those rolls, no fucking way. I rolled a 27 con save for him.
Wow.
I almost catch him.
Yeah, you hold your own, but there's something to be said about body mass, I guess. But yeah, he definitely drinks a lot, and he definitely, I mean, the Aarakocra a lot throughout the night, there'd be like music and dancing. The Aarakocra don't dance like on the ground. They're like flying around off the balconies and stuff, and kind of like dancing in the air essentially, and it's like elaborate kind of dancing. But I mean, some of them like stay on the ground, you know, to make you guys,
Yeah,
you know,
seen
just
birds
down there.
dance on the ground.
Sure, they bob their heads like
Yeah,
chickens
like
and
hop
shit.
the
Yeah. hop one foot to the other. But
put their wings
Oh,
out
big
and
birds
in the
that-
circle.
Hip flex forces
Sorry, go ahead,
going
Ryan.
on.
The reason Archie gets so drunk is because she doesn't have enough experience with alcohol to.
Why Black wouldn't get so drunk, because he has lots of experience with alcohol.
I feel like the Aarakocra have like a lot of like fruit wine kind of like sweet drinks. I feel like it's not like these stout beers and stuff. So I mean, yeah.
Like hummingbird feeder. That's been
ciders.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a Mike's
fruit.
Hard where it's hard to tell that you've been drinking that much.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting. It's like drinking coolers all night, and then suddenly it hits you.
Standing up.
Oh shit.
Archie.
Yeah, with Archie and Blackwind. I mean, Blackwind, you last longer than Archie, but just by virtue of your higher constitution and everything. But with those rolls, the two of you, yeah, you could probably black out sometime in the night. It's just kind of like that's enough. Blackwind probably just drinking, just like, okay, let's do it. Whereas Archie, you just kind of, yeah, I picture Archie as like, you know, like when you're trying to have like, you think you're having like a super serious conversation about something like profound and academic, but you're like drunk off your ass, so people are just like, what the hell is Archie talking about?
Blackwind's full frat boy.
Blackwind's doing a headstand on the keg.
that one drunk girl at the party that everybody.
Archie really wants to fly dance, but she can only do it for a minute.
I picture Archie at one point in the night, just like at the same like where Donaquin's sitting, like sipping teas, just like talking about something, and Donaquin's just like politely sipping his tea, like, you know, like the designated driver at a party. It's just like, oh, that's great. The hell is
you have a drink. Here, have this drink. You can have this. Have a sip, you. Trying to force alcohol on him.
It's true. It's
He like takes her out, dumps it behind his head. That was good.
Yeah, if you guys haven't, please level. I don't know if you guys have thought about this a while. You've only had like 25 sessions at level 5, so I don't know if you've thought about your next level's options yet. At this point, you've had plenty of time to decide what you were taking next. But yeah, you guys can level to level 6. In the morning, hungover or not, you will wake up.
I'm gonna roll for hit points.
You're gonna roll? Okay, I was just gonna ask if anyone's gonna roll.
I always gonna roll because it's fun.
Got the average. Good job.
What if I got?
I don't need to change anything then.
No,
because it gave me the average by default.
Yeah, it automatically averages you unless you roll and change it yourself. So, is anybody else rolling for hit points?
Yeah.
Oh, I see one.
Ooh.
Nice, 9.
Ooh,
good
beefy
stuff.
roll.
What is my hit die?
69,
D6?
baby. Yeah.
I'm a
Nice.
I'm a D6, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna take.
Nice.
Nice.
Do I do this now?
Plus my constitution is 1, so 7.
So if you leveled yourself, it should have automatically.
I haven't done it yet.
Okay. It will automatically do it then.
Yeah, make sure you don't double count if you roll.
Well, yeah, as I say, I just wanted to know what number I'm supposed to hit.
Okay.
Is there class?
Blackwind, are you rolling or?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just.
It's okay.
Sure.
Wizard.
Oh crap. How do I do that again? Oh yeah, I gotta drop it on there.
You pick up a dice and throw it in the chat box.
No, I know. I was looking for that. I'm gonna roll.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, max it up.
It was cocked on mine a little bit, and I'm like, oh god, is it an 8 or a 10? Either way, it was good.
Good job.
I just gotta drop my level on.
Okay.
Sorry.
John or Sean, are you guys rolling for hit points or
I'm
taking
not.
the
No,
average?
just taking the average.
Average? Okay.
You
as
show
well?
me how to do.
Yeah, Brad, sorry.
Can I just, for flavor, because I wasn't sure that we were going to be leveling up at the end of all this, say that over the 30 days, another daily activity that I haven't really done in a long time since I've been traveling is a rigorous exercise routine. Being surrounded by, being around like other big, tall, kind of warrior-looking people kind of getting me inspired to try and tone and do that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I took +2 strength for my side.
Oh, nice. Oh, because you're a fighter. You get one this level. That's right.
Yeah. So, at the end of all this, Baz is just a bit more toned, a bit more
nice,
a bit more beefed up. It's maybe all the nuts and seeds.
Yeah.
It's like almost
Fat.
all those proteins and amino acids. I don't know.
Amino acids. The avocado. That's what did it. I wanted to ask before you just sorry, this is for Aelin. Everybody else is carrying on. Actually, sorry, I gotta find something. Just give me a sec.
This is cool now. That's why I had to go with this one more level.
That's
Oh. Hate it when I try to find something and then. So one thing Fantasy Grounds isn't the best at is finding the class information, like searching for it when it. Because there's certain. Like, it's fine to go like the player's handbook and find something, but to just find like a specific option where you don't know what book it's in.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't consolidate them.
Yeah, it doesn't like sort by monk, right? Like it's.
I mean, you can find all the monk.
Yeah, but it does. They just say monk like 8 times, so I gotta click into them all anyways.
Well, right, yeah, it just tells you what source book they're from, but that's it.
Yeah.
I can help you maybe if you're trying to find something.
Well, I also can't remember what it's called, so it doesn't help.
Okay.
I'll know it when I see it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
What does it rhyme with?
Unk. Rhymes with unk. That's not it. Okay. What? Ah, ha, ha, ha. think it's in here.
So
Way of the Sun's Soul.
I took Canny as my 6th level Deft Explorer, and it also, let's see, I gained the proficiency in the chosen skill. I'm able to speak and read 2 languages. I'm gonna take Chalton as one. I figured I've been around Chalton enough.
Sure.
Does the Aarakocra have a language of their own, or?
They do. They speak Orin.
Orin? Is that learnable, I guess? What has that been? Something that I...
You could say that you've been attempting to learn the language in the last 30 days, enough to... Well, sure.
More time than I spent with the Chaltons, but...
Or,
yeah.
I just figured it seems how I spent so much time. I didn't know what else to take, really, so it seemed to make sense.
does make sense.
Languages. Where do I do again? Oh yeah, I'm going to have double proficiency on survival.
Oh, expertise. Nice.
Nice.
That's handy. Yep. Okay. Sorry, it took me a while to find it. I should have made a note for myself and linked the things that I wanted, but I had to. Anyways, I've got them now. Aelin, you've been training with T-Bolt for the past 30 days. I'll leave this up to you whether you want to do this or not, but I will allow, if you want, when you level to 6, without changing your subclass, you can. There's two things. Number one, there's just a choice, but number two is a harder choice. So the harder choice is the most important one, I think, and that is you are able to, if you'd like, take the level 6 Searing Arc Strike feature from the Sun Soul Monk without basically swapping that for your Astral Self 6th ability. So one or the other. That's one choice that is basically just giving up something for this. You don't have to take it. It's up to you. Yeah. But it's an option for you, so you can kind of have that feature and then the rest of it continue on as if you're still the mind one. You just lose your level 6 feature. I don't know how good your level 6 feature is for the one you've got. I didn't check, but he will be able. He's taught you enough that you could master Searing Arc Strike. I don't know if you know what that does.
But it lets me cast Burning Hands, right?
Yeah, immediately after you take the attack action on your turn, you can spend 2 ki and cast Burning Hands as a bonus action. You can upcast it by spending an additional ki and the maximum number of ki you can spend is equal to half your monk level. So you could upcast it to level 4 by spending 6 ki instead of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you're not interested in that one, that's fine. You don't have to take that, but I thought I'd give you the option of swapping an ability for that at this level without having to change your subclass.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one option. You can just decide if you want to or not. The other option the other thing that he will teach you is, and there's another choice involved here, but this isn't a replacement for anything you can already do. Depending on whether or not you think Aelin was more focused on harnessing the radiant energies within him to enhance his offense or his defense. To give you a bit more context of what that actually means, you can take one of these two options. One is Radiant Sunbolt, i.e. you can spend a ki to change your attacks to ranged bolt attacks like he does, where it shoots a ranged bolt, which is a range of 30 feet and does radiant damage equal to your martial arts die, up to 30 feet away, shooting bolts of radiant energy. So you can either take that, or you can take the Hands of Healing feature, which is channeling your ki to roll your martial arts die and add your wisdom modifier in healing. You can also use it in...
How many key points does that cost?
As an action, you can spend 1 key point to restore hit points to equal to a roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom. You can replace one of your unarmed strikes during Fury of Blows without spending a key point for the healing. So basically, you can Flurry of Blows, and one of your strikes you can heal with.
That's cool, because I've Quickened Healing, which is similar but worse. It's 2 key points, and it's an action. There's no flavoring it as part of, or not flavoring, but tossing it as part of Flurry of Blows or anything. I think seeing definitely I'm not gonna take the Searing Strike because even if mechanically Visage of the Astral Self isn't as good, I don't know, but thematically it's flawless.
Sure. No, that's fine.
And I think he would go for the Radiant Sunbolt. I think seeing T-Bolt throw those feathers at to flying creatures and kind of seeing what his sister's able to do, that's something that he would prefer, knowing that he has the option to heal himself and others in a pinch if he needs to.
Okay. Cool. By the way, at sunup, T-Bolt hammers on your door, Aelin, and gets you up for training. You don't get a day off just because you drank. He seems perfectly fine.
I thought
he knows you're leaving today, but that doesn't mean you get out of morning training.
Yeah, I get up.
It gives me an improved favored foe, but it doesn't say what it does. It just says the same thing as favored foe at first level.
It's better. So.
It's just better.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's favored foe! Jazz hands! Jazz hands edition.
Favored
It's
foe
now
and Deft
really
Explorer improvements. Okay.
I'm not sure if it really matters because we kind of changed it anyways, how we kept it this way, as opposed to where they made it like a lot like weakened it almost, but then you use higher dice as you improve, I think. I think that's the way that they created it. So it would go up to 1d8 damage, but we kind of went with the original way they did Enhanced Ranger.
You choose one additional favorite enemy at 6 and 14.
Oh, okay. So
no, that's the old way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Favorite foe is. So I think it doesn't really matter to me, just the way that we've played out the favorite. You know what I'm saying, because they improved it. You improve the damage, but they also don't get to use it as utilitarian as we kind of went with it.
Right. Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I just know that they kind of made it weaker somehow.
Yeah, I just want to see something here. Let's just make sure come on, open.
Open!
Open!
And then when you've got that figured out, I got a question for you for Radiant Sunbolt.
Sure, just one sec.
Yeah.
Ranger, favored foe. Oh, yeah, okay. Optional replacement. You can call to mark the target. So is that what you were doing? Sorry, remind me, what are you doing now with favored foe, Ryan?
Basically, we mark it, but I can use it as a bonus action to mark and move it, and I can use.
Right.
It's
kind of like a free hunter's mark, essentially. Yeah. Okay.
And this way it was a little bit different.
Yeah, the extra damage increase. Oh, so the extra damage increases at 6th level. Oh,
yeah,
what is your? But yeah, we did it the other way. Yeah.
I think it starts at 1d4 too.
Yeah, the way because we took it from the Unearthed Arcana, whereas the Tasha's one they kind of nerfed it a bit, so we kept it the Unearthed Arcana one. So yeah, so essentially for you, the favored foe doesn't change when you level to 6. Like you just get the Deft Explorer thing, right? Like because you already had the better one starting out. Yeah. Okay, so that's good.
At least it works better this way, I found, anyways.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So, yeah, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Radiant. What's the question?
So the way that the ability works is I can just replace my attacks with a ranged attack, and if I spend a key point, it basically gives me a flurry of blows. That's also the ranged attack.
Right. So this thing is you have to spend a key point to use it. It's not just
for
a straight
each attack.
Just for that turn. So whether you
so
you know what I mean? Like
so
basically
if I
you
wanted
have to turn it on.
So if I wanted to do 4 ranged attacks, it would cost me 2 key points. 1 to activate it and 1 to do the flurry of blows.
Correct. Yeah. So it's not just a free and that's why because I was giving it to you, I didn't just want it to be a straight you always get the ranged attacks because then it's just a straight increase in power. So that's why it costs you key to turn it on for a round essentially. So and then it lasts that round whether you combine it with other things like Stunning Strike, Radiant, or Flurry of Blows. That's up to you to spend more key points if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I would be only using Radiant Sun Bolts in training with T-Bolt the next day.
Look what I can do. So you're gonna start this day with no key? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You're traveling today, right?
We can short rest before we leave.
Fair enough. That's true. You had a point of interest. Yeah.
But if we
I'll
don't,
allow
I
it,
would
Andre.
do it
No, I'm just
either
kidding.
way.
I'm kidding. It's fine. I'll allow it. And by that I mean the rules will allow it. Okay, so is everybody done? You know, everyone chosen. I don't know how much you guys get at level 6. I didn't look at any of your characters, so anything you guys need to do on this level up still, or anything you'd like to share with the group?
I have a lot of Gerald stuff.
You have a lot of Gerald stuff. That sounds ominous. Okay.
Yes.
Let me bring up Gerald's sheet and I'll just modify him. So let me get him out of the combat tracker because I'm gonna have to put him back in.
I also need to know how to spell Chulton and Orin for proper language understanding.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because I don't know how to spell either.
Orin Chulton. There you go.
Oh, I spelled Orin right.
Although I spelled Geralt as Gerlad. I'm trying to search for his token, like Gerlad. Geralt? No, it's not Geralt. He's not the White Wolf. Gerald.
Gerald?
Gerald
Butler.
Okay, here's Gerald. Let me get into modify mode. Okay, so what changes with Gerald, the Archie
Okay.
Golem?
First, I rolled shit on his hit points, so he only goes up to 41.
41 hit points, okay?
Yeah. But, so he adds proficiency bonus, which is the same as me, so it's 3, to his AC.
Okay, and his base is 15?
His base was 15, so it should be 18 now.
Ooh, that's a nice increase. Okay.
Yeah.
Gerald, thank you.
He also gets it to his damage.
Nice. Gerald's
So instead of the
useful.
+1, it's +4.
So it said 1d6 plus 2 in his stat
2,
block.
okay. So it should be 6.
Because it's strength, right?
Yeah.
You +2 strength and plus, so it's 1d6 plus 5. Because it's
+5.
That's pretty good still, actually.
He gains proficiency in 2 skills of my choice. So I'm
does
choosing...
his hit bonus go up or just the damage?
It just says damage.
Okay. Okay.
He gains proficiency in 2 skills.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give him acrobatics and athletics. Because what other skill? I guess I could give him stealth. Do you guys think I should give him stealth instead of acrobatics?
If you're doing a group...
He's been the most reliable of the stealth mode than any of us.
Actually, I'll give him stealth. That's more useful group.
So athletics. So he gains proficiency, so that means his athletics then will be +5 because it goes off strength.
Mm-hmm.
And his stealth will be +4 because it goes off dex. Okay, that's in his stats.
Okay, and he also becomes proficient in strength and constitution saving throws.
Okay. Saving throws. So do I have to write that all out, strength? Or is it STR? Let me bring up
STR should work. In all capitals, STR.
It's just, it's important because otherwise when he auto rolls it, it won't do it right. So I gotta make sure I got the syntax right. So, I gotta find a creature that would have this. Aboleth? Okay, it's just the 3 letters capitalized. So STR +5 and CON +4. Did that work? Let me roll save off his sheet. +4. Okay, yeah, that worked. Excellent. Anything else?
Huzzah! He now looks like this. I'm dropping it in the main campaign, but we can change that later. He's a bit bigger.
Oh, he's a fatty.
Now. And he's got a little more arcane energy to him because
Nice.
he leveled up. He
Yeah.
levels up a few times. So this hero
What are you feeding him?
arcane energy.
Oh god, he's gone rogue. He's an evil monster in the combat tracker.
I'm infusing
No,
him
his
with more and
initiative's
more.
not 41. His initiative is... His hit points are 41, and he is friendly. And... let me know if this works, Archie. Is that his updated stat block? Did it go to you?
It looks like 41, 18, strength, con, athletics, stealth. Looks like it.
Cool, there you go. Update. If you have a shortcut to a stat block, update it.
I will. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Gerald is leveled up. Oh, you know what? I need to create a new token with that image. I'll work on that
That's what I
in
say.
between.
Yeah, we can do that later.
Yeah, because he's not little weenie Gerald anymore. He's big, he looks like the guy
He's
from
Boulder Gerald
Big
now.
Hero 6, kind of.
Yeah.
He looks kind of like him.
Minerals. His
I have-
vitamin minerals.
I don't know if we'll ever get there, but he
Okay,
doesn't.
Matt.
I have a level 14 Gerald as well, and he's cool.
It's Voltron. All right. Anybody
Yay.
else need anything from me for leveling, or are we good to go?
I just have for leveling, no, but I do have one role play thing.
Okay, sure.
So at the beginning of the morning, during actually probably before breakfast, I would go see Baz.
Okay.
Knock on his door.
Yes. Hello. What?
Hey, buddy. How's it going,
Hi.
champ?
Yeah. What is it?
You're looking
Sorry.
good, sport.
Yes. Hi, Jonah. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, last night I had an epiphany. So I was wondering if I could see your weapon.
Oh. Yeah. Sure. Here. Sorry. Hand over my greatsword.
I'd be
Sure.
like, oh man, this is pretty nice. It's not magical, right? It's just,
Oh.
mundane.
It's. I mean, I like to think of it as having a little bit of the Baz magic.
Oh,
on it.
well. I have to say that right now, I don't know if you know this, but you're leading on the non-lethal competition. And so,
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. What?
so you're leading on our
Oh.
non-lethal competition with a score of 27. Now, since you're doing such good work, I thought maybe I could improve your sword a bit.
I mean, sure.
You can kill better.
And you could not kill better, is what I would say if Phelan was here.
I mean, that's great. I mean, do you have like some kind of like sharpening stone or sort of
Sharpening stone? No, we're going to blunt it, of course.
You're gonna blunt my sword. My both sides, both edges.
Yeah.
How permanent is that change? Is
Oh.
this like
I
a
think
magic?
if you're leading the competition, I think you should be rewarded. Now, if you fall into second place,
Okay. You're sure this is gonna help? This is gonna be a good thing?
yeah, I don't think you'll kill anybody.
Hey, Jonah, I
Got a wiffle bat.
I gotta say, that kind of feel like that's not a great idea, maybe. Only because, we're gonna be going into even more dangerous places. There's gonna be more undead, and those those guys are real buckles. We got to be able to, I got to be able to chop their heads off. I mean, and those don't count in the competition because they're already dead. And if my
very
first
true.
blood, and I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to do that, unless you think that what you're going to do is not going to affect that.
Oh, well, no, it definitely affect that. 100%. You would. I have another idea. So maybe if I just okay, I will go with plan B then, if you don't want to blunt it.
What's plan B?
Oh, I will make it glowy.
Oh. Okay.
A lightsaber.
I guess that's okay.
Okay, good. You sure you don't want me to blunt it just a little bit? Maybe just like one side?
I'll think about it some more. But it's not a bad idea.
Great.
Holy shit, that's good. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just reading the ability that you're doing, Jonah. That's awesome.
So I will then go ahead and use one of my transfusions to install the new device on it, so it's all glowy. And in the party Brad is the description of what I did to your weapon.
Ooh. Radiant weapon.
Yeah. And so I will let you know that as long as you're leading the competition, you'll have this. And then at breakfast, I would tell everybody that it's been a while since we've been to the port, so I can't really pay you guys this money, but I think it might be nice if we did, since we have new members of the party, do a little soft reset. And just let you know, whoever's leading the competition will get a special magical item that I'll make specially for you. And I have a lot of list of good things. So once we get back, I'll give whoever has the highest score the 100 gold I owe them. But I think we'll do a sort of a season type thing so everybody can get in on it between long rests.
If I'm not directly attacking, but I'm doing other things, is there any way for me to gain points, or do I have to attack non-lethally to gain points?
Oh no, there's a bonus section, so if you do something else, I don't think anyone's earned any bonus points yet, but if you do anything you think is bonus points, let me know and I'll give it to you.
Well, I mean, if I'm concentrating on making Baz hit better or protecting
hit softer.
Well, that's what I mean, more accurately, so he doesn't kill somebody.
Sure, yeah. Let me know. I can give you some bonus points for that. We could have assists.
Or if I'm, would assisting in bad ways work too?
Probably. Yeah. You and your magic missiles. Still gives me shivers.
More if I were to
Biflo the humanity.
Cause all the enemies to move slowly or something.
Yeah, I think we could do something like that.
Easier to kill.
That's what I mean. But also easier to knock out. So I can't choose what you guys do with said enemies.
Oh, and Brad, my DC is 15. It uses my intelligence, so.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to set that up.
And I'll let you blunt my staff if you want.
Staff. I don't know if that'll help. I could break it.
I mean, you could try.
Shatter.
Okay.
Jonah just busted over his knee. Oh shit.
Wow. Was this a fake?
Fuck. Didn't see that one coming.
Was it all in my head?
I'll put pillows on it.
It's like one of those American Gladiator with the two big foamy things.
Little Nerf sword.
Well, you guys have leveled up. The next morning you awaken. You've already got all your gear and everything ready. You've got all your supplies. We already went through all of that. You have your directions. As you guys are gathering, because you've got a long trek ahead of you, and it's best to leave basically after breakfast. They would bring you down with their little air elemental swirly boy down back to where the horn is down below, and T-Bolt will say to you, you have conducted yourselves honorably, and you gave one of your own in defense of this place without having any reason to do so other than just to protect the sanctity of this place and our peoples. And for that, you have our thanks. Go with the sun. And he gives kind of Aelin an additional kind of like pointed look when he says that. And he says, may its strength shine on you, even in darkness. And then he just kind of nods to you, doesn't wait for you to say anything, and just off he goes. Unless you want to like shout at him, but he doesn't.
I'm not a big fan of goodbyes.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be sticking around to like have any lengthy goodbyes. He just kind of says that and goes to take off. You could shout at him, but he is taking off pretty quick after he says that. He's not the only one there. Ashara is, and Moaxinari, although Nod does not go down. But Ashara flew down, and Moaxinari as well.
As T-Bolt's flying away, I would say, like, how far away? Like, I want to wait until he's, like, out of normal, like, yelling range.
Sure. So
does he get that
fair
far?
Distance up.
I'm going to spend a key point. And I'm going to take off my mask, but instead of the radiant aura bursting out from him, a sort of second mask of light appears in front of his face. And I'm activating the visage of the astral self. And one of the things I can do with the visage is I can amplify my voice so that all creatures within 600 feet can hear me. And I will yell to T-Bolt, and I will say, next time we're here, I'm going to beat you. And then I'm going to deactivate it.
You don't hear any response because he's too far away, but he kind of spirals in the air, and like a burst of radiant bolts just kind of fly off in all directions in a sort of challenging way before he disappears up in the monastery. Ashara says to you, she's like, I believe you've got everything you need. Maybe some time before we see you again, weeks perhaps, if nothing ill befalls you on your journey to Nangalore. You are of course welcome back here if you return this way, if that is your intent. Otherwise, we will speak again. And she would hand, I think she would hand Archie this. She spent the most time with, no, she didn't spend the most time with you. Maybe Blackwind.
I think her and Orin then.
Yeah, I think she'd hand it to Blackwind because you spent a lot of time like trying to learn her meditation techniques and stuff. She hands you a small kind of it's a very lightweight. You're not sure if it might be bone and it might even be hollow, but it's a small kind of like triangular shape that has what looks to be like the symbol of like a Kadi, you know, that wind primordial on it, on the one side, and it's very lightweight, like you can barely feel it in your hand. And she says, this concentrate as I showed you, and this will allow you at least occasionally to keep in touch.
Oh yeah.
Essentially, she's giving you a sending stone. It will only communicate to Kir Sabal, to Ashara. It's not quite as good as like a normal sending stone, in that it has 3 charges, and the charges don't replenish automatically, so you have to be sparing in its use. She might be able to recharge them should you return physically to her, but but it has 3 charges. So in times of great need, you can communicate with Ashara if need be, but only 3 times before you'd have to physically come back and recharge it. So keep it close and safe, but only use it if it's a true emergency or something dire occurs that you need to talk to us.
Sure. I thank her and Orin, and then say, your people have taught me many things, including, that's why I'm saying I increased my proficiency in survival.
Sure.
And I was able to learn more of the languages, such as yours and the Chalton.
She nods and she says, you keep working on your meditations. The rage within you is something that you can overcome and control. With time, this will come to you. And she turns to the rest of you. Sorry, unless you want to respond to it.
Respect.
Respect. Black was just like. She turns to the rest of you, and she says, "Anything else you need before you depart? Anything at all you can think of?"
Anything at all. Guys?
Yeah, if no one says anything, she will nod and
Did Artisan Kimber ever come with us here?
I expect you would have asked her before this about that.
Probably, but I never physically said it, so
artists no.
Oh, cool.
Baz would just, be very thankful to everyone, to the Aarakocra, to everyone, and give if he'd accept it, I'd lean down and give Na a little hug and say, I'll see him again at some point, and yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Is Azaka staying here, I'm guessing? Seems how she's one-legged.
Sorry, that's a good point. Yes, Azaka won't be coming with you. She is missing a leg, and she does not move quickly. And she does not feel she'll be basically she's not. She yeah, I kind of forgot she was here.
She doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, she's missing a leg. It took all she had just to get here, and she's not going. She believes this. I mean, she's been here 20 days, I guess, with you as well. She may at some point try to make her way back to her peoples, but for now, she's going to stay here at Kir Sabal. And
it's the mask that she got stolen from her down this way somewhere. I can't remember.
It's north. It's basically the way we want to. If we're going to return up the Tariki River to the port, it'll take us through there.
Yeah, and she would say like don't. She feels like she's. Yeah, it's a good point. Azaka would tell you guys.
Do we need like a letter to bring to Jobal?
Yeah, she's going to say basically, unless she finds a way to restore her leg, she is going to probably retire from the guiding game for the foreseeable future.
If she has a description of the mask and we happen upon it.
Yeah, she would definitely give you that. If you can liberate that, and bring it back to the port, for safekeeping at the bank, she'll give you that. Just put it in the same deposit box as the funds you gave her. In exchange for that, she'll release any funds you paid that you would owe, up to the point, essentially, if you do that for her, she'll release all the funds, and she'll give you like a note that says as much, essentially. So if you want your money back, bring the mask up there. Otherwise, she'll consider paid in full, and it's up to you whether you want to or not.
Cool.
I mean, we have to find it.
Yeah. But for now, she's going to stay with Kir Sabal, except for maybe tonight she might stay in the jungle, but upon the morrow, she'll go back. You know, don't want to stay in the peaceful monastery during the full moon. That might not end well.
This has definitely been the most comfortable around, like, it's just been more nature-y for a gathering of people or population.
Yeah, I almost forgot about Osaka, but yes, she would have told you this in advance of now anyways as well.
She just shows up as we're all leaving. That's right.
You're here. Yeah, so Ashara would that's all she has to say. Moaxinare will just say you're risking much to assist me with my endeavors, and I don't know if you'll succeed, but from what I've seen so far, you're definitely the kind of people that I hope I can rely upon. It may not be soon, it may be years before any true change can come to this land, but know that what you're doing will have profound impact upon the people of Chult for the better. I truly believe this. She's like, she kind of nods and says, until we meet again.
Indeed.
Respect.
Be safe and all that jazz.
I would give her a bow and say, should a Chultan named Masika come looking for you, you can trust her. She's we've known her a while, and she's from the old Mesron Guard.
She nods. She's like, yes, Masika spent some time amongst us, as you may be aware. I did not interact with her. Oh boy,
that's gonna be embarrassing for her.
Well, as she continues, though, she's like, I did not interact with her during her stay with us, but she is well known to Tybalt and Ashara.
Well, no time like the present. We will return with your cup, if we find it.
We also might, swing through on our way back north after we hit Nangalore, but we might see you in, 10 days or something.
She nods and with a brief invocation summons a kind of a swirl of air, and she kind of like floats up off the ground and waves to you once more before her and a contingent of about a half dozen Aarakocra guards fly back up to the monastery, leaving you alone on the ground. Down here, the devastation of the last month's worth of rains has scoured a lot of the leaves off the surrounding trees and left a lot of the rock kind of scraped bare. And you notice that on the steps leading up to where the horn is, all the kind of moss and lichens have just been fully scraped away by the weather, leaving just kind of bare rock. And you see scratched into the rock rather largely is a phrase in Dwarven, and it says, Bravis Boulderborn was here.
What a little... Bravis Boulderborn?
Yeah.
And it's the first of Myrtle now, right, Corey?
Oh yeah, this is the day after Greengrass, so yes, it is the 1st of Myrtle, thank you. Because the festival was on Greengrass. What's this note I have here? What's this dot? There's nothing.
On the 4th?
Yeah.
It's the 1st.
Oh, I know what the dot on the 4th is, but I have a blue dot on the 1st. Why?
Bravis was part of the yellow band.
Yeah.
Apparently you have Detect Magic on right now.
What was his last name?
Boulderborn.
What?
Boulderborn.
Oh.
Liz has been detecting magic the entire 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For a month, baby.
She's also got AC3 twice on her.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's okay.
Yeah, she
I
took double mage armor when she hit level 6.
I wish.
Except for
Can I
that
take proficiency in mage armor?
proficiency in mage armor. Sure. You can now cast it with a +3 to hit.
To touch though.
Take that. Accurately hit myself with mage armor.
Awesome.
Well, you guys. Oh, the Kir Sabal celebration music needs to end.
Sending off music too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good sending off music.
It's like they sent a choir to sing for us.
It's pretty good music, actually. I like it. Chose it specifically for this. What the hell? Sorry. Having an issue, guys. You guys can hear me, right? Someone answer, please.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. My computer's having an issue. What is going on?
It just wanted to play the music again.
Yeah, it's being weird. Sorry, give me a sec. I'm getting some sort of errors. Fantasy Ground's still running. Someone make a roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What the hell? Getting an error. It won't let me. What the fuck?
Ooh, fun.
It's hard to choose between level 6 ranger and getting my canny ability, or taking a first level in barbarian to get that going. Overall, I think the ranger abilities will be much more useful in the long run, unless we have to get in a lot of fights.
Yeah.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, I'm an idiot. Okay. It's all good. Figured it out, guys.
Cool.
Good job.
Nice.
I had a... You know that thing that happens sometimes in Windows when you have like a pop-up or something that you have to click on anything else? Like you have to either close or whatever. Well, that was up, but it was behind Fantasy Grounds in my desktop. I'm like, why won't it let me click on anything? Nothing's working! So I minimized Fantasy Grounds and oh hey. Snooze. It was take action or snooze and I snows it. Snows? Snoozed?
Yeah.
Snows.
Is it snows?
Snows. Yeah, totally snows.
I snoozed it.
Snars.
I snarted it.
Now that's just something different.
Oh. Okay, so... Oh, I forgot. A key thing. You guys are level 6 now. There's a slight change that's come about. And you notice it even as you start moving away from Kir Sabal. I imagine you guys are heading to the southwest, like towards the river, like was suggested.
Yeah.
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 As you make
Oh,
your way
were
out of...
our canoes okay?
Where'd you leave them?
I'm pretty sure we left them at the base of the.
Oh, I'm sure they would have tucked them away somewhere safe. That they weren't
That's
destroyed.
great.
And yeah.
Thank you.
They
for
just
that.
made us new canoes.
You're
we
welcome.
didn't notice.
Why are these canoes so terribly made? Birdfolk carpentry on canoes is not the greatest. This one's got wings. No. As you move away from Kir Sabal into the music won't change. Screw you, Groovy. Into the jungles of Chult, maybe it's the inspiration you've gained from your time at Kir Sabal, or the extra training and knowledge of the land that you've gotten in Blackwind, or maybe it's just the additional training you guys have had and your increasing stamina or whatever else you're learning while you're here. But you feel more in tune with the land of Chult than you've ever felt in the past. From level 6 onwards, when traveling in Chult, you now move 2 hexes in a normal day of travel instead of 1.
Ooh, twice as fast.
Now, move.
Yeah.
You can move slowly, which is a single hex instead, instead of having a 50% chance. Essentially, you just move a single hex instead of not moving at all, even when moving slowly. You can do that now. Moving fast can still give you a 50% chance of a 3rd hex, but it's only a 50% chance, and all the requisite penalties that go along with that still. So it's just basically your base movement speed in Chult. Now, you don't know if that'll work everywhere in Chult, but in normal trains that you've encountered so far, seems that it's like the easier paths are open to you. And maybe occasionally as you're traveling, when a choice presents itself, something in the land nudges you one way or the other to make it just slightly easier. Is it a Chwinga? Is it the land itself? Is it just your newfound confidence? Who knows? But you move through the land. It doesn't make any of your checks easier. You still have to make all your navigation checks and rolls and everything. Foraging rolls, you don't get extra or anything like that. But essentially, and for the purposes of foraging and stuff, you can basically choose if the hexes are different trains. You just choose one or the other for your focus of your roll. It doesn't give you extra. And the last thing I'll note is, for the purposes of mapping, you only have to roll once per day still. Like, it's still a single check for both hexes.
Right.
So you can. What about river travel?
River travel is 3 automatically. It's an extra hex either way on river travel.
Okay.
So it's still faster to go by river than by land.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because otherwise, then there's not really any point to take the river travel. We can just move so quickly.
Yeah. So just FYI, that's just a perk of officially moving into Tier 2 in the land of Chult.
Wow.
Overland travel is not as onerous as it used to be in Tier 1.
Nice.
Being seasoned adventurers, used to the land and its various natural hazards and ways.
Really cool.
Nice.
Did you say we could be guides?
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
We could be heroes.
Just one day.
For one day.
I knew you were gonna say that. All right, so yeah, let's do this first day of travel, because something's gonna go down. So, I assume that you guys are doing the exact same rolls as you always do. No, I'm just kidding. I'll ask.
I'll take the navigation, I guess, but I could use help.
Yeah, you've got the expertise
Like,
now, so you're definitely the best now.
Well, I'm best at a lot of things of it, but
Fair enough. That's true.
I mean, it's true.
My foraging, I get advantage on, so
Yeah.
automatic advantage on foraging. So, and I get advantage on navigating through same squares.
Wow, you've really gotta be very precise now that I can't see where I'm uncovering. Trying to uncover a hex. That was like a. Notice how it's all like jagged along the edge? 'Cause I couldn't see where.
Hopefully they fix that.
Yeah, that's a pretty shitty
Yeah.
thing.
How does that even get mixed up in that?
Well, even better, the erase tool no longer works. So I just had to hide all the like writing because I uncovered a few hexes you guys hadn't seen before that I had like made marks on for my own purposes.
Hmm.
And now that they're uncovered, I was gonna just erase them as I uncovered them. But the erase tool's broken too, so I had to just turn off writing entirely. So
Oh, terrible.
it is terrible. It's so awful.
Since is Sean away or is he?
He's
sitting
putting
low?
Aiden to bed.
Let's say he gives advantage to Blackwind for today.
Yeah, sounds good.
He can't roll this up.
So Blackwind will navigate with Donna Quinn's assistance. So you guys will get one extra hex because you will make it to the river partway through the day. You know what? I'm just gonna say it's 2 today because you're not on the river the full time. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Plus, who knows where a good landing point to camp is afterwards?
Yeah.
We're perfectly here, probably.
All right. Let's. So you're navigating. Archie will need a mapping roll for the sex. What is Baz up to?
Baz will defend.
Okay. What is Aelin doing?
I can scout for hazards unless there's something else that we would rather do.
Okay.
I think we know. Yeah, I think that's a good call.
I'm gonna help you.
Archie will help scout for hazards. Okay. And what's Joan up to?
This is Riverway and Heavy Jungle.
Riverway. Yes, Riverway and Heavy Jungle.
Riot Root.
Wrath Roost.
Riot Root.
How and Joan, you said you were having Keith almost every day. How much? Keith
Probably, yeah.
How much do you have left then? Like
I started with 30, so I don't know what, like, because we got it throughout. I mean, I'll just take 10. I don't know, 20.
Sure. Sure. The one you take, take 10. Sure. You're probably drinking it, running low, go out and get some more. Running low, go and get some more. By the time you leave.
Yeah.
you have 10.
It's one of those, almost like a morning ritual or something.
Yeah. Just to help you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Let's make a navigation roll, Blackwind.
Vacation time, come on.
Can you even fail this anymore? I don't know. We'll find out.
My lowest roll is 9.
So so you can fail even if with advantage, but it's very unlikely. Okay, 27. Sorry, you got a 27.
What is with cartography rules today?
Oh man, cartography mod. What? Tool's defective. Wasn't the worst you could have done. Okay. Let's do the scouting. So you got advantage on this for hazards.
Yep.
Okay, and let's do the defense from Baz. Cool. Let's do the foraging from Jonah. Yeah, that's a success. Roll a d6.
E4.
D4, that's what I meant.
I find 2.
Hey.
Wait, you said Kaith?
No, Riot Root.
Riot.
Oh, Ryathroot. I'm sorry. Yes, okay, D4. Yeah, okay. We were talking about Kaith, but you said right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get a single. Okay, that's everybody. You don't have any NPCs with you at all, right? No,
Nope.
you don't.
Keep
It's just
going.
you guys for like the first time ever. No, not the first time ever, but you didn't have anybody on the way back from to the port from Mesro. Okay.
Umbrella.
Umbala, you had Salita with you.
Not on the way back. Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah, you did.
You're right. That's fair.
Okay.
When you support Nines are not stealing it.
Cool. Okay. The day passes without any particular incidents. You avoid any sort of natural hazards. I would say that the one thing you do encounter in the mid-afternoon as you get closer to the river is a kind of a big kind of boggy area that's got some pretty rough-looking patches of like deep, kind of muddy quicksand kind of areas, but you're able to navigate around that with your hazards check. So good thing you rolled that instead of just searching for points of interest, because you could have stumbled right into this. It might have been interesting, but you avoid it, so that's good. You don't encounter anything hostile as you head out. The jungle is relatively quieter. The bugs are pretty bad. You'll definitely need insect repellent. They seem to have come back with a vengeance with the rain. There's lots of standing water and pools of water on the ground everywhere that haven't dried up. The weather, by the way, is just kind of normal for the season and light rain today. So you still need some insect repellent, so mark that off. You will need to mark off food as well, because nobody foraged for food. And as you kind of canoe down, probably takes you maybe a little bit extra time. The river is still kind of, it's not like a steep rocky gorges, but it's still kind of like depressed, kind of like in a little like gorge that you have to kind of like awkwardly get your canoes down to get onto the river, but it's not like waterfalls and rafting and like rapids. It's pretty slow moving and wider than it was. So it's pretty easy going paddling southwards for the remainder of the afternoon, and then you'll be able to find a place to pull off when it comes close to supper time and camp time. You set up a nice camp, and out in the jungle. What do you guys? How are you guys feeling camping out in the actual wilderness? Not the, I wouldn't say comfortable beds of Kir Sabal, but at least secure and dry beds of Kir Sabal.
It's weird. Yeah. Like I had gotten used to not wearing the insect repellent.
Oh. I don't know about you guys, but I feel rested for the first time in like 30 days. It's great.
I feel fine.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're going to some ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yay!
There's gonna be plants there.
Yeah. That's a you thing. I'm more interested in the building.
I like rocks.
We're gonna get there. You're gonna start clearing where the plants.
All right, get all these fucking flowers and shit out of my
Start
way.
fireballing. Cover Christopher's eyes. Sorry, you have to see this.
And
I don't hate plants. I just don't understand plants very well.
They don't
Well,
speak.
there's two
Literally.
plants here. Why don't you talk to them?
Not many people can understand them. That's why.
I will. I'm assuming I've seen Jonah talk to them in Dwarven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the language of plants. Everybody knows that.
I would talk to them casually tonight in Dwarven because I can do that.
they shake, creating kind of a hissing sound as they rub their leaves and branches together.
That means they agree with you.
I sit on the other side of Gerald.
Gerald, crush those bushes.
Yeah.
Non-lethally
No.
crush those bushes. Just kind of like pets the leaves.
Can you have an unconscious plant?
I guess if it's a sentient plant, I guess.
Sure. It's hibernating.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's magic. Who knows? Okay. Well, who's taking? Do we have the same watch order as usual? We have Archie and Baz first, then Aelin, then Blackwin and Jonah, then Donaquin. You gonna keep that order for your any reason to change it?
Yeah,
No reason to change it.
absolutely.
I'll set up a trap like I usually do, a hunter's trap in the spot. That would seem normal for somebody to try to sneak up on us or whatever.
Sure.
Or something.
Cool.
Don't go over that way to relieve yourselves. You'll end up with a surprise.
I will not set up alarm because there's no reason to take it because we're never ambushed at night.
Okay. You don't set up alarm. Oh, okay.
I didn't take it. We haven't used it in a couple months, so I haven't been preparing it.
When we got back to port, Archie was gonna ask if it's something that she should look into learning if you don't want to take it.
Well, I could take it. It's just I might as well take like cure wounds or something instead.
Yeah. Well, that's the like for 50 gold, I can get it in my spell book.
So the music's changed.
It's just, she'd just offer.
Well, let's see what happens. How much gold we have?
Chill.
Maybe it'll win the contest, and then it'll be free.
Everybody know what's going down.
I sure am ready to have a nice, uninterrupted night of sleep.
Yeah. I'm going to say I pretend to cast alarm.
As you guys nestle in for sleep, Archie and Baz, you're on first watch as Aelin, Blackwind, Jonah, and Donaquin curl up to get some shut-eye.
Oh yeah, you betcha.
We throw up?
I might change the third one depending on whether or not Sean comes back. But Aelin, Jonah, and maybe Blackwind, maybe Donaquin. We'll see how this pans out. We'll start with Aelin. Aelin, sleeping away, you find yourself, and Archie and Baz, you guys, you're on watch, whatever. You can notice that, it could just be change of scenery, the day of travel, maybe slightly nursing slight hangover from the day before still. But Aelin tosses and turns a little bit in his sleep. Aelin, you, when you awake in the morning in the monastery of Kir Sabal, T-Balt does not awaken you for your morning exercises, and you find yourself, you kind of get up, kind of still feeling hungover, like a bad headache, kind of drained. You open your door, and the first thing you notice is that the floor is kind of like slick with kind of this like brackish kind of green water, and it seems to be kind of like leaking down the walls as well from above. You don't know if there's a crack or something in the foundation of the hurricane outside. You can hear the wind howling and a crack of thunder, and the shutters behind you in your room kind of like flutter open, and you see beyond this kind of like wide open vista of, well, you thought it was morning. It seems to be the middle of the night still, in fact. And in the flashes of lightning, you see like clouds of these black figures kind of flitting about in the sky. In a state of kind of alarm, thinking maybe it's a gargoyle attack because you can't make out any distinct shapes, you move out into the hallway on the slick floor, kind of unsteadily as your feet kind of slide. It's almost like when you got like mossy, kind of like a thin layer of water on rocks for a long time, and they get that like slime. It's kind of what it feels like, kind of slippery. You make your way towards your companions' rooms, knocking on the doors one at a time, opening them. Nobody seems to be there, so you find yourself kind of moving around the corner. But where the Temple of Uptow should be, there's just like this large kind of like common area that looks like. There's no symbol of Uptow on the ground. And but what is on the ground are just like stacks of bodies wrapped in sheets, just like all around the room, in a big like semicircle around the entire room, just stacks of bodies, probably like 2, 3 high, all wrapped in these like kind of look like dirty like brown and gray tarps with like dark stains on them. The room smells awful, and there's like clouds of flies, and you can see that it looks to be like probably hundreds, if not thousands, of these like thick kind of like red ants that are just kind of like moving across the floor, in and around the bodies, and across the main floor. It is dark except for like the occasional flash of lightning. You've got dark vision though, so it's kind of, you can see in the flashes of light. There is, standing on the balcony but not inside the room, there is a kind of like figure kind of crouched down facing away from you with long stringy kind of like tattered cloaks over her, or what you assume is a her. It looks like a woman. She's holding a staff kind of unsteadily, and it looks to you like the rain stick of Umbala, but it is all where that had scenes of like nature and rain and things like that along it. This just has scenes of just kind of like unsavory. It almost looks like, I don't know, some sort of like strange like rituals and like writhing bodies and things. The woman kind of turns and looks at you. She's got these dark pits for eyes with kind of like this sickly kind of green light, and this like patchwork kind of cloak. And you see she kind of like scratches at her face when she's got like open sores on her face, and with like some like looks like blood or pus kind of leaking down. And she kind of like rattles the stick, and as she does so, there's this like rattling noise from all these like bracelets that seem to be on her arm that are exposed, that just look like bones like entwined kind of all together. She kind of like rattles the stick as she like looks at you pointedly, and then she opens her mouth and kind of smiles. She's got like these strange, they almost look like wooden blocks instead of teeth, and she kind of like hisses in your direction, and she's like, "Ah, yes, there you are, grown strong, grown stronger at least, away from safety, back in the wilds, it seems." And then she kind of stands kind of unsteadily, and she steps forward, and you can see that her one leg seems to end in like this kind of seeping black like stump with like almost like a pirate like peg leg, but it's got like this blackish like liquid that's kind of like seeping out of the wood. And then she kind of like takes a couple steps towards you, and then she's like, she kind of stares at you, and you feel like this coldness in your chest, and your forearm starts to kind of like throb, like just right here, kind of like just throbs. You look down and you see like two like what looks like puncture marks that are like red and inflamed and kind of like bleeding a little bit. And then she kind of takes another step towards you. Do you attempt to do anything?
Yeah, I would attempt to activate the astral arms and the astral visage.
Okay. Can you give me a charisma saving throw, please?
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of like, I don't know how it normally feels to you, but there's kind of like this feeling of like resistance. And you guys, Archie and Baz, you're awake. You notice that Aelin starts kind of like tossing and turning and seems to be sweating pretty profusely in his sleep. And Aelin, you attempt to summon these arms, but instead of the normal kind of this astral extension of yourself that appears, it's just kind of this sickly kind of like black glow that kind of looks like arms. They just kind of like reach out and like just dissipate in the air, and the woman kind of like cackles a bit and shakes her like bone neck bracelet things at you again. And she says, no, not tonight, not tonight. And she's like, tonight, no, all you feel is danger. It's like, soak it in, soak it in. Then she turns and kind of like, almost as if she like hears something, she kind of like looks back, she's like, and makes like this frustrated noise. She's like, yes, yes, yes. She kind of looks back at you and gives you like this sickly look, like smile. And then she kind of like just turns around towards the back of the balcony and puts her hand up, and all the ants that are everywhere just immediately turn and very rapidly rush towards you and just cover your body, just biting and stinging. And you guys notice that Aelin starts thrashing in his sleep, and you see little kind of red welts kind of breaking out all over his body.
I'm gonna go over to him and like
shake him.
I'm shaking him like to sit him up and like take out my water skin.
I want to try to wake him up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Make him like a Polaroid.
Jonah.
Yes.
Let's rewind some time a little bit here. You're sleeping, or are you? No, you're not. You are currently in one of the workshops in Kir Sabal, kind of tinkering away at a new toy for Na. And as you're doing so, like I don't know, you got some pliers or wrenches or whatever the hell tools artificers use in this day and age, kind of like doing something. You get this overwhelming sensation that you have to finish this project as soon as possible. So you're working kind of frantically, and there's a knock on the door behind you, and you kind of like turn, and you see a small shape kind of standing in the doorway. It's kind of
because we were
childlike.
Okay.
And at first you think it might be Na, but the voice that comes out it sounds like a small boy, but kind of like a little bit like whining and like slurs its voice a little bit, and it's just like, please, it's not too late. You can turn back. You don't have to come.
I will. Yeah, I'll look up at the boy then and turn around. Sorry, what? What'd you say?
He's like, and there's kind of like this squeaking sound as the boy kind of like leans forward, and you can only just make out like very briefly in the shadows. Even with your dark vision, it's like hazy almost. And he kind of puts his forearms down on the ground and kind of almost like pulls himself forward on like he's on his hands and knees. And there's like this really kind of jarring squeaking sound, like a rusty wheel turning. And you can see that the boy that pulls forward looks to be the upper half of a monkey, or like a chimp or something, that's very haphazardly lashed to like a small wagon with like a rusting wheel on it, instead of it has no lower body. And it kind of squeaks forward. And behind it you see two other small figures. One looks like a straw doll, kind of like tottering forward. And the other one you don't quite see, as you hear a what sounds like rapidly approaching footsteps and like a hissing sound, as well as what sounds like the barking of a terrier or something, a small dog. And the monkey kind of like gets a look of like terror on its face and turns and quickly wheels its way out of the door, kind of ushering the other two out. And he kind of looks back and he's like, she's coming, hide, and kind of like ducks out around the corner.
We'll go to the door and look out the hallway.
Okay. Walking towards you along the rickety bridge in front of some of the Kir Sabal homes is a figure that you've seen before. in a previous dream, this hideous kind of like gangly creature with long arms and what looks to be like a burlap sack over its head. It's with something moving underneath it, and kind of with this strange like kind of like grass and like reed skirt. It's kind of rapidly, kind of like shuffling its way down towards you, and extends a hand towards you with these like those long kind of gnarly fingernails. And you just, it doesn't say anything, but it just kind of like, again, as it gets closer again, it seems to get larger and larger. What do you do?
I will run away. I will run into the hallway, and I will try to make my way to the secret cave I found.
Okay. Give me a charisma saving throw.
Ooh, great. Oh.
Okay. You run over to the wall and frantically search for the lever that opens it. When I love it, okay. When yeah, you can't find it. And as you're kind of like pushing where you know that the lever should be, you feel what feels like a hand grasps your shoulder, and you turn and you see this big black gnarly hand that kind of just digs into your shoulder with its claws. And at this point, as you guys are trying to wake Aelin up, Jonah kind of lets out like a shriek and kind of like thrashes, and you see a big bloom of blood on his shoulder.
I'm gonna look at. Yeah.
I was gonna say, you stay here. I'll get Jonah. You wait, because
okay.
well, Jonah's got a big wound that I would like to heal.
Okay, fair enough.
So, I would.
And
I want to.
Aelin is still kind of like thrashing, but hasn't woken up. You've just kind of got to him and got the water out when Jonah like lets up this shriek.
Yeah, if I see the blood, yeah. So
let's rewind slightly. I was gonna pick Dawn and Quinn, but it's okay. There'll be future opportunities. Blackwind, you find yourself in the central room of Kir Sabal. You must have been meditating for a while. The people you were with seem to have left you. You're kind of just sitting there, kind of cross-legged. And you kind of wake up, kind of slightly confused. It looks like the sun's gone down. And as you kind of stand up a bit unsteadily, the floor kind of shifts slightly, as if it's like spongy. And you can see that the outside there is kind of a it looks like, you're not sure, maybe it's hail coming down, and just kind of like bouncing these small stones off of the balcony that kind of bounce down towards your feet. Upon closer inspection, as you kind of like clear your vision a bit, you can see that the small rocks that are hitting aren't rocks at all. They are these small kind of like lumps of like this black, like jagged glass. And as you kind of like move forward to kind of get a better look at the glass, the ground kind of shifts again under your feet. You kind of like look down where the symbol of Ubtao should be, but instead of Ubtao, there's just a massive, there's a circular symbol that's stamped on one side with what looks to be like the head of like a monarch or something, and it just looks like a giant gold coin. And the rest of the floor is just kind of this spongy black surface. It kind of like squishes slightly as you and gives slightly as you step on it. You do anything, or try to do anything?
I'll investigate the coin. Can I use my ring of light in this?
Yeah, if you want to try. Do you want to?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Blackwind, I'm almost positive, and I might be wrong about this. Let me just double check. That ring of light, it has a command word to activate, yeah?
Yeah, it has. I have to look it up. I have it on my items or inventory actions. Where is it? There it is. Yiga Raxgia or whatever. You want me to copy?
No,
type it?
I got it. Blackman, when you say that, there's a sudden jolt, and the whole building kind of just like buckles slightly, and there's kind of a very loud reverberating screech that you're not quite sure whether it's male or female or even humanoid, just kind of just like this howl of seemingly pain, and you hear as your vision rapidly starts like darkening, you hear a voice that says, kind of almost as if someone's standing like right over your shoulder. It kind of like barks in your ear, and it's just like, "How do you know that name?" And then you immediately like, bolt eyes open in the campsite, hearing Jonah shrieking and Baz and Archie kind of like, you hear Baz like, yeah, go to him," kind of thing.
She said what? Or the voice said what? Sorry? Bring me. Or.
How do you know that name?
Oh. Wow. Weird. Did not expect that. That is so cool. Holy shit. I just jump up.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Is my ring activated right now then, for real?
Yeah, your ring. So I guess the campsite suddenly is bathed in light as this ring activates.
yeah, so we would certainly notice Blackwood getting up. I'd just look up at him and be like, Aelin and Jonah, there's something wrong. And I would actually like I kind of got Aelin kind of like propped up, maybe like on my shoulder. So I'm gonna like reach over and like unscrew my water skin, and I'm just gonna like start dousing him in the face with water.
I'll say the name again out loud. I don't know if that'll disrupt them or not, but
The ring kind of pulses slightly brighter when you do that, but you've seen it do that before, probably when you've activated it before. It doesn't seem to do anything further though. Actually, when you say it, when you say it out loud again, actually that's what turns the ring off too. So it would go off when you say it. If you say it again, it turns back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the same command word to activate or deactivate it.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if I said it in my sleep or in my dream. So.
Yeah, if you said it out loud while you were dreaming, the Baz and Archie, you didn't hear Blackman say that, but he could have muttered it, and with Jonah's shrieks and stuff.
Sure.
Donna Quinn is sitting over by a tree snoozing.
For now.
So they're not waking up, right? Is that
both of them are kind of just like thrashing in their
It's
sleep.
the hag. It's the hags. It's the hags.
I would like to try casting Protection from Evil and Good on Jonah.
Sure.
I don't know if it'll work, but if he is being charmed, frightened, or possessed, he has advantage on a saving throw against aberration, celestial, elemental, fiend, fey, and undead.
Okay. Yeah, you cast it.
That's all I've got.
Doesn't seem to affect what's going on. It only lasts for maybe like a couple more minutes before they both kind of subside, and you both would probably at that point wake up. Your shoulder definitely in a lot of pain, and Aelin, you just kind of like feel like itchy and sore all over. Your forearm is like throbbing.
Are there any marks on the forearm?
You see two, what looks like, it almost looks like a snake bite. Two, but they are rapidly fading, as are the small welts. Kind of fading away.
Are you okay? What happened?
The hags.
I had a bad dream. It was like that one time, remember? In the inn?
I saw a giant coin that reminded me of the eyes. But when I went to investigate, I called upon the ring, and that scared it off. It did not like the name. We need to know more about Yig Yurax or whatever. Because that's not just an activation of a ring; it's a name.
Corey,
Mm-hmm.
when we initially encountered the green hag, I rolled a 23 for my information on them. Do I have any idea if their own name would affect them in any way? Like a real name? Like
I mean,
if the power of names holds any sway over hags?
There are stories of, especially like any in fey creatures, which green hags are fey. Definitely names can have significant power in the Feywild, especially true names of things. So
I don't think we even knew this was a name, though, was it? We just knew it was a
yeah, it was just
word?
a weird word that happened to turn on the light when you said it. But yeah, it doesn't look like a name, right? It's like Igor Raxig.
Well, but it didn't. My comprehend languages didn't pick it up as anything.
It didn't translate
else.
to anything. Yeah.
To anything, so it would have to be a name.
And
for the moment, roughly.
Or some sort of arcane incantation that doesn't literally mean anything, right?
And where did we find the ring again?
We found it in the... Where was it? It was either the underground temple or the campsite. I think it was the temple. We found it on the way to Umbala.
On the way?
Yeah, in the
or on the way back. It was traveling.
On the way
to
back.
I don't know which one it was. It was traveling.
It
was either the, like I said, the campsite on the way there or the shrine on the way back.
The Camp Righteous big tower, not tower, but monument thing that we went inside, or
No. We came across a campsite that was trampled over. We got some rations. Everything there had been dead. There was a couple of tents. There was an abandoned campsite. I just don't remember which one we found. Hold on. Okay.
I guess my I was wondering if we found it in Imbala.
I don't. Well, I'll be able to tell you, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Either way, whatever this figure is that's haunting us, it's not. We don't know what kind of creature it is because it's not Nanny Poo Poo. She was the green hag.
No.
Right, but
we understood that we were haunted. We had the dream before, and it led us to believe we're being basically, I don't know, haunted is the right word, but
yeah. I'm just saying we don't know that it's a green hag.
We assumed it was the hag that we thought that Blackwind saw in his vision. He saw a covenant of hags after Nanny Poo Poo. After we encountered or killed her, he had another vision with 3 hags. Oh, you had the vision with Nanny Poo Poo. It's what Nanny Poo Poo showed you. That's what it was.
Got their attention on us. Probably.
That's what I mean. She showed you them, and I assumed that that's the 3 that was the 3 of that were doing this.
In fact, she was showing them to us.
Maybe.
Well,
or us to them.
I don't know about that because it seemed like they didn't like her and wanted her gone.
She might have been trying to buy her way back because she.
I think they're the ones that burned her hut.
Maybe
because when we returned and I had that dream of the hut burning, I was bitten by a snake in the dream, and it was the same 2 bite marks on my forearm that I just woke up with.
Didn't that happen? Did Jonah lie to us
after we killed Nanny Poo Poo?
Yeah, no, right, but Jonah got 2 stabs. But this is Liz asking: did Jonah lie about how he got them? You said you poked yourself in your bed or something. I think is what you told us.
Well, first dream she pinched me. Now, if anything happened at out in the wild, I don't recall. Maybe something did.
I was
Doesn't
thinking of the one.
remember any suffering and injury in that fight, but yes, this
Gotcha.
is the second time that I've been physically
Affected.
on the shoulder, and I think it was on the forearm. It might have been on the shoulder. Last time I also bled.
Gotcha.
He immediately, or whatever it was, I guess I say she, but it immediately was repulsed by the name. Whether or not it's the same one creature that gets you guys in your dreams or not, I don't know.
I don't know.
That might have been just blind luck. Well, it was blind luck that I said that, to be honest, but
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, so
what did you say? I want to remember that.
Yeah.
the name.
yeah,
It's on chat.
Blackwind. What did you say?
So the pronunciation for the official pronunciation, which you guys would have figured out and Blackman would have said, is Yiga Raxig.
Is that Sheldon?
Pretty good.
It does not. It's a very odd name. You guys couldn't place it at the time, what it meant or what it is. But you know for sure it's a name now. You suspected before because it didn't translate into anything, but that could have just been because it was a command word that was, someone goes, I'm going to make my password like, this jumble of characters, right? So you didn't know at the time that it was a name for sure. It could have just been a command phrase that someone just threw together. But yeah.
So you guys, the way we got it was at the shrine to Obtau. Aelin, you gave the pretty flowers as an offering, and a Chwinga appeared, and that's the gift that it left.
On the way back, when we discovered
On the way
little
back,
shrine.
after Nanny Poo Poo, the gift from the nature spirit from the offering you gave was a ring that happened to have the name of one of the things that is now haunting us, torture, whatever.
Well,
we don't know anything about the name or who it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that whoever this creature is just does not like that name. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is the name of one of them.
No, I mean it's a name that directly affected it and potentially just helped Blackwind.
No. Yeah, totally I get that.
I'm saying the nature spirits gave us something to help us in this case. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For being nice.
Yeah.
Why didn't they give us like 5 rings?
To be fair,
well, we only gave him 1 flower.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. But no, I think didn't we try a second one?
Or did we tried something else? It did.
Well,
I don't remember.
There doesn't seem to be any lasting effects, Jonah. Even like moving your shirt and everything, there doesn't seem to be an actual wound there. There's blood, but the skin's unbroken. And Aelin, the little prick marks have all but vanished now, and your arm still kind of throbs a bit, but much more mildly, even after a few minutes of discussing this. It doesn't seem to have left any lasting injury on any of you, or like detrimental effect, other than maybe being a little bit rattled. So
we need to find out more about this name, though. That's for sure.
When we get back to port, I can look into it, but that's as much as I get.
For now, with this strange encounter that you haven't had for many weeks now, since you last left the port, because that happened before you left the port last time, right?
Before we left the port.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I would ask Archie. Do you know what date that was?
I can tell you. It was right after Zendala decided to go with us. It was like the day before we left port.
I have the actual like real world date, but I don't have the in world date.
Yeah.
I would point to is it a full moon tonight?
It is, yes.
It is. Oh, whether it was exactly a month ago.
That's what I'm trying to decide if it was a month ago.
But I didn't have anything a month ago.
But I would again point to the full moon, and our guide has certain powers during certain times of the month, maybe.
We were in port on the 10th because it was Baz's birthday and he didn't say anything.
I actually honestly didn't see my...
Okay, the Pegasus contract expires and we had it for 8 days. So we Biggest contract with Spires we'd had for 10 days. Which would have been. So we hired them on the 8th.
Man, only if there was a magical potion that could help us with this.
I'm trying to remember if we left the day after we hired it or if we waited an extra day.
Well, I'll let you guys ponder that. We are coming to the end of our session, so we will end our session here after this nightmarish encounter. And we'll see what happens next time on your journey to Nangalore. So why don't we do our quick round? I don't think Sean's gonna make it back in time, so we'll start with Ryan this time.
It was fun. That was great. I think I liked how everything kind of felt flowy, and and this little bit here is just like, oh right, back into the danger zone and those hags or whatever. But now I'm intrigued though. I feel super lucky that I managed to say that. I did not think of that. I just wanted to see the coin better, but because I wanted to see if it meant anything, but I didn't even get a good look at it because it basically banished it.
Yeah, I had a whole scene worked out before you did that, Ryan. I was like, oh well.
I mean, I think it's a good thing that I stopped it because I don't think it's a good thing.
No, it's good. It was interesting to me that you said that. I was not expecting you to do that. Of all the things you could have done or said, that was not on my list of things. So you surprised me, Ryan.
I think that's the thing that's also enjoyable is that I managed to pull something out of my ass.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. I was going to use an inspiration to try to make a saving throw. Actually, was my whole thing, but I was going to try to disbelieve it and like forcibly, but I don't know if that would have worked either.
Yeah. Hard to say.
Oh yeah, it was an interesting aspect that kind of hooked me good at the end. So it was fun. And the leveling up stuff. Hardest choice was what level did I want?
Yeah. Level 6. Done.
Oh, Barbarian 1? Yeah.
All right, cool. Brad, hopping all over.
Hi.
You're next.
Yeah, good session. I wasn't expecting the level up, so that was fun. That was fun to get a little bit stronger and stretch out a bit more. It did feel, a little bit, admin-y for about half of it, which is okay. There was stuff that we wanted to finish up and get through as far as like the downtime stuff, and that wasn't a thorn or anything. But once we got into the wrapping things up, and then obviously the last half hour or so, it was definitely whoa, what is going on? So yeah, it's back. Good to be back out in the jungle and doing stuff and learning things, and everything's kind of coming together. Yeah, it's good. Inspiration to Ryan for even if it was you stumbled onto something, you still did it. So I certainly wouldn't have thought to do that. So yeah,
good. Definitely wasn't the result I was expecting. That's for sure.
Cool. Andre?
Yeah. Enjoyed the session as always. Rose was definitely just everything about Kir Sabal still. The Festival of Violent Lights was wonderful, a lot of fun. The sort of culmination of my training with T-Balt was really interesting. I'm excited to have something new to show off alongside the level up. That's always fun. And then yeah, the return of our nagging evil dream hag. And I want to give John inspiration for like a half dozen things.
Yeah,
But
no
the first
kidding.
the first thing I thought of was the remembering to ask about the airship.
Yeah.
Cool. Who wants to go next? John, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. First off, inspiration to I want to give it to both Andre and Brad, but give it to I'll give it to Brad. I like the role play with me trying to blunt your. I thought that was very on character,
That was fun.
and it was
That
fun to do.
Just gonna take the pointy out of it. That's all.
I don't know.
You played it perfectly. You gave me a lot of runway. It was good. I thoroughly enjoyed that scene. It was a good thing. Especially since you didn't know where it was going and I did.
Yeah.
It was perfect. So props to that. That was really good.
And thank you for. It's a really cool ability, so I'll definitely be using that. Sure.
Yep. And then I thought this session started slow. Like even like before a break, we weren't even like really rolling too many dice. It was just a lot of sort of, I think, a little bit of admin. But then I think it sort of ramped up all the way up till we have this great cliffhanger. So that would be my rose and thorn. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I think next session will be a lot of fun. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, places to go.
And
I think even traveling like faster now is going to be a lot more fun too.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about
Places
that.
to go, things to kill, or not.
yeah.
Sean? Liz?
Yeah, no, I had fun. I like admin stuff. I like lore stuff, so that was all great. I'm a big nerd, just like Archie, so yeah, I thought it was good. No, I guess my only thorn would be no spellbook, but I didn't honestly expect there to be one. I just have to ask because, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the dreams are really cool. That's always fun when you kind of mess with us a little bit. One question: the full moon cycle, is it a perfect month in between, or is it like on and off cycle in this world?
I'll be honest, I haven't thought about that too deeply, so
okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I guess my point is, if it is on a perfect one, and it's happening on the first now, we were in Kir Sabal last time, but it doesn't match up with the dreams we had in port. So whether it's on purpose, Archie would probably know the main cycle, so it's up to you, Corey, whether it lines up or it doesn't. You can obviously have it line up, it just means the cycle's not perfect. We'd still be in Kir Sabal last time, so that's up to you.
I'll think about it. Meta-wise, you probably have gleaned that it's probably not that important with the moon if I hadn't even thought about it. But in character, I'll think about whether I want to throw that in-character red herring at you. I mean, possibility.
Whether you want us to be able to predict it, I guess, is.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, it doesn't line up.
Yeah.
I've reached the last page of my book.
Oh.
A milestone.
I have not. I'm still this
so
much
I
in.
use the one Liz made for me for Christmas now. And I'm gonna start over with like we don't need to talk about this. I'm gonna organize it
Sure.
so that there's actually sections of important shit as opposed to just stream of consciousness notes for an entire book.
Right. So at the beginning of my book, I've got notes on the Golden Council, and then notes on the temples, and notes on our guides, and like so I put away a whole front section of the book to add to location notes and quests and contacts, and so I can just skip back to the beginning instead of always having to go into the notes.
I need a copy of your guys' notes because they're probably way better than mine.
You say that, but then there'll be a time where like I go back and go, no, you definitely said this, and then Liz is like, no, I've got it written down as this.
Well,
And
like,
more often than not, one of us is right.
I could have sworn that piece of that thing said Mesro because that's what I wrote down. I didn't even go back and look at it. No, it was Nangalore.
It is Nangalore. Well, yeah, for me, yeah, I do agree. I thought we'd get a bit further. I thought we'd get to Nangalore this session. And you're right. When we got to it doesn't help that we started almost a half hour late. So I apologize for that. But I think we would have made it to Nangalore and got through the travel there, especially with the faster travel now. If we had started on time, it would have given us that extra push. Well, maybe not, because there might have just been more RP with the dream stuff. So it's hard to say.
I didn't help either. I clarified a lot of the history during the session as well.
Sure.
So that took up
there was for me, I had only a few things. Like I said, when we went to the calendar, I think I had like 3 things of import that I wanted to bring up. So I wasn't expecting some of the stuff like there was extra question and answer periods on a bunch of different topics that I didn't really know we were going to spend that much time on, which is not a negative. It's fine and it's important and these are good things. So, and there was a bit of RP stuff that I didn't know how long we would spend on. I had an idea in my mind what we'd get through, and we did get roughly but I did think we'd get a bit further along. So I guess, maybe my time management to push things along that could have been a bit better, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys with what you're doing either. So anyways, but all in all, I enjoyed the session as a DM. You guys did all of you did a really good. You all had your own little moments and things that felt. I don't know. It felt really good. I felt from my perspective like you guys were engaging with conversations and NPCs and activities and things, and not just passively sitting there not doing anything. So I appreciate that from everybody. So we'll wrap it up here. It's a little bit later than usual. Sorry about that. This is where we'll end. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Magic Mythal Tomb of Annihilation. We do live stream on Sunday nights, nearly every Sunday, starting at 4 p.m. on Twitch, and you'll catch up on this session and previous weekly on YouTube as well. There's a link below in my profile. And if you enjoy spending this time, consider giving the channel a follow and turning on notifications, and you'll see when we go live, and you won't miss any new episodes. Thank you again, and thank you again to all my players. Have a great night.